What's up, guys? This is Tim Bertram from Bertram Dental Lab. Just here today to talk to you about something a little bit unique. With us being a removable lab, we have our 3shape licensing specific to removables. And there may be people out in the world that also have this. Again, this is unique. I know that we only purchase and use a removable license for 3shape, but I'm going to show you today with that license how you can do CAD designs for custom 3D printed metal orthodontic bands. So when you open up your 3shape and you click on your settings, little bolt icon or bolt and nut icon, and it opens up and you're in your main menu here. I'm going to bring this up. You go and click on the connectors tab here under removables. You can grab an existing default part, like let's just say you grabbed a rest. And I'm grabbing a rest because the item type is occlusal rest versus like if I'm grabbing a major connector, there's other settings like stipple protection that you don't want or you don't want to deal with or need them. So you want to grab something that's categorized as an occlusal rest. You can create a copy of that part. There's your copy. Click on that. And let's rename it in this example as Ortho Band Test 1. Okay? The main thing that's important is that you have the substructure thickness set to 0.5 and the wax thickness to 0.4. These two items are the most critical when doing bands as far as thickness for production. You will end up with a total thickness of your CAD design at approximately 0.9. The substructure thickness is like the very center of the part. So that's where it's going to start to taper down to the edges of your part. The wax thickness is your setting for the overall thickness of the whole part. When it's polished and shined, you're going to lose some of that thickness. So with these settings, you're going to end up around a 0.8. But let's save this part, and I'll show you then how to set up an order to make some bands. Okay, so here's our order. And the nice thing about doing bands this way is if you have any undercut, maybe on the lingual of a tooth, we're looking at the survey. So if there's any undercut, we can take care of it by blocking it out. Right now, I'm happy with this path of insertion. And our blockout angle, 4 degrees is our default. You could go down on that if you want to 0, 1, whatever you'd like. So we're going to preview that for the blockout, see what we have. There's not much there. So we're going to go next. And this is a step where if you wanted to soften up these interproximals, that's where I like to add a little bit here just to buffer these. Like that. Just add a little bit more on these interproximals. I'm happy with that. Let's go next. We're not going to use the retention grid step because we don't need to. We're not going to place any mesh work. This is a stage we're going to grab that part that you created in the library. You're going to go down to your ortho band test. Click on the tooth icon. Notice your settings here. Those are the defaults you created that part with 0.50 and 0.40. So we're going to start outlining our bands. I'm just following the margin. It's up to you how much you want to come up on the lingual of these bands that you're designing. Okay, then you're going to grab your cutout window tool there, and you're going to cut out the occlusion for this band. The biggest thing to keep an eye on when you're doing these is to have enough thickness between where you're cutting out your window and where your occlusion connection is. Right here, that's too thin. You're going to have breakage problems when you try to print this band and polish it. You can always take some off once the part's made by hand. That's not too hard. But when you have thickness issues, you have a lot of production problems and delays. So let's preview what that looks like with those settings. There you go. Just what I'm looking for. Let's do one on the other side. There we go. Now let's go next. And if we go next again, we're going to get an error because you cannot create separate parts that aren't connected. So we're going to grab the lightest little connector that we have in the library, or sometimes the default is called a jumper. Connect the tip of your band to the other side, and it'll allow you to proceed to the next step because you're basically combining them as one STL. There you go. I'm not going to sculpt in this step because I want to use the thickness map. I don't need a finishing line. Skip past that. Okay, thickness map set to 1 millimeter. This is checked, that little dot. Anything in red is below 1 millimeter. And this is where you want to make sure you have enough thickness. I'm using the spray can here, or the sculpt tool, the add, and these are your intensities. So you can add wax, remove wax, or smooth, and you can play around with these tools. And you add to these interproximals. You want to make sure these are at least 1 millimeter in thickness. And right here, when they're connecting to these arms, so we don't have any breakage. Same thing here. Add a little bit. Blend that. You can tell how they taper down. The red shows you, again, with the settings on that part you created, how it's red to the edges because it's coming down to 0.4, which is fine because you have enough thickness across the whole part. It's just you have to pinpoint these areas that are needing a little bit more. There we go. And then you're going to want to tie these parts together for manufacturing. So you're going to come down to 1.25, grab a crossbar, connect it there, grab another one, connect it on the point. These will be cut off. And let's put one down the middle here, like that. You can go next. And there you go. Got your bands ready to go for manufacturing. You can go to bertramdentallab.com, click on the partner portal, sign in if you have an account, and you can upload those to the LaserTech print service, and 3-day turnaround, polish back to you in the US. If you have any questions, reach out to me, and I'm sure I can help. Talk to you later. Thanks for watching.